Hey guys, it's Sam here and welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to kind of give my opinion on who I believe the next vice captain should be after Trent leaves, and also I wanted to talk a little bit potentially about some transfer news that is sort of happening right now regarding Liverpool, and just give my kind of final opinions on that after the video that I made the other day. So that is the plan for today. But before we get into that, I want to add on to the previous video, which was the announcing that it was official that Trent was leaving. Now, I tried to make a follow-up video, and after recording, I just deleted the clips because I thought, no, I don't want to. I don't want to upload that video. And to be honest, I kind of wish I did, just to get everything there, but maybe it was for the best, and maybe I can talk a little bit more with potentially a more clearer head. But also, there have been more and more updates since I sat down to record the first video, and also since I sat down to record the follow-up video. So what's come out since is, if you watched that video, you will have seen that I was it had just been basically announced that he was leaving. He had the interview, he did the video, and that was it at that point from when I started recording. So if everything like that was just that, then I would still stand by what I said. I was basically saying that he is and will always be a Liverpool legend, and that, you know, fans have every right to feel the way that they want, which I still stand by that. But I was more leaning in towards I was still annoyed and hurt and betrayed, but I was leaning more closer towards the let's give him a good send-off and just, you know, thanks for everything, rather than the more angry side. However, the more stuff that came out, and the more I really looked into this situation, and the more I hear a lot more people talk about this situation, it completely flip-flops me towards the other side. The big one being that, you know, his whole point of joining Real Madrid is to fulfill a boyhood dream of playing for Real Madrid. Now, that doesn't sit well with me, considering he is supposed to have grown up as a Liverpool fan. Me, growing up as a Liverpool fan, also wanting to be a professional footballer, could never have dreamt, and did never dream, of playing for Real Madrid or any other club other than Liverpool. So, I don't get it. Obviously, they're different people, but I just don't. It just doesn't sit well with me. It really, really doesn't. This seems to be orchestrated. This move seems to be orchestrated. We're getting at least 2 years ago. A lot of people are saying it could have been back 4 years ago when he originally signed his contract extension. Because it was, everyone said, I believe it was Alisson signed a 6-year deal. I believe Henderson and Van Dijk signed 4-year deals, but they were late 20s or at least in their 30s at that point. So that's more understandable. We had offered Trent a 5 or 6-year deal, and he was refusing that and only wanted to sign a 4-year deal. People say that brought him obviously to now in his prime, where he could leave in his prime, as he's just entering his prime, should I say, for free to Real Madrid. If this has been orchestrated for 4 years, where Real Madrid may have even contacted him and just said, look, like, you can sign this contract and see it out, and we'll sign you at the end of this contract when you're in your prime on a free. Maybe it was orchestrated 2 years ago when it's believed to have happened. A lot of people are still trying to pin the blame on the club, where I've really gone away from that. It has also come out that the first contract offer was April of last year. So when he had 14 months left on his contract. People may still say, why let it get to 14 months? Well, if you think about all the changes we've had, I mean, leading up to this, we had Michael Edwards. He then left to pursue a new challenge, so we got Julian Ward. He left within a year, and we ended up getting the fella from Germany, who I cannot pronounce his name. But then that was only originally a short-term deal, so we were still in the process of looking for our long-term sporting director. He stayed on for the January window, even though it made no difference because we didn't sign anyone. And then it got to, I believe, February or March when it was announced that Richard Hughes had got the job. And his first action of being the new Liverpool sporting director was to appoint a manager. Before you even think about players or negotiating for new contracts or anything like that, it was, we have to look for a new manager. So a lot of things kept being pushed to the top, and in the end the time was just running low. But even then, you would still expect someone who professes to love this club like he did to immediately understand that, but also, as soon as negotiations start, really push for this new deal. However, it looks like he was never going to sign, and this has been a decision he's made 18 months to 2 years. So that's what I'm going to say on that. A lot more will come out when he signs that Real Madrid contract. A lot more has come out since also, but and to be honest, I'm done. I'm just done with it. I want it done. I don't think he should play again, and I'm glad that Conor Bradley is playing today. I believe Conor Bradley should play in the next 2 as well, and you know, he can get his medal. I know some people say he shouldn't even be on the bus for the parade. You know, they're saying if they were in his situation, they wouldn't have the nerve to do it. I still think maybe it could be a nice little thing for him to just have one last thing with his teammates before he does go off. You know, I wouldn't expect it to ruin the atmosphere or the celebrations, because one player's decision or situation shouldn't deter that. You know, we're champions, we get to celebrate at this time, so, you know, fuck Trent. Just focus on the players that actually want to be here. So that's that on that. And yeah, I've said my piece now. On who I believe should be the next vice captain, well, you've got quite a few options. You have, obviously a lot of the fans' favourite is Mo Salah. You've got Alexis McAllister. You've got Andy Robertson. You've got Alisson. And I would even throw in there Dominic Szoboszlai. Now, I think he would be down the list, but I would still throw him in. You know, he's hungry captain. As I said, Robbo is the Scotland captain, and in my opinion, I think that it should probably go to Salah. Just give him that extra, just extra value really to the team. You know, it might feel like possibly we're not too sure, you know, what will happen in 2 years. Will this be his last 2 years or not? Maybe you want kind of a longer term vice captain, but then again, your captaincy is also unsure what will happen in 2 years. So maybe you do have that captain, vice captain, staying for the same amount, probably may even leave at the same time as well, and then you get the decision of making a new captain and vice captain at the same time. Maybe they don't want to do that, who knows, but I'd be happy with any of them being vice captain, but for me, I do feel like it should be Salah. But if it was Maka, if it was Robbo, if it was Ali, if it was Dom, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I do think it should be Salah. He has had the armband a few times now, and he is a leader by example. And I just think that it would be a very nice thing for him to have as he potentially moves towards the end of this Liverpool chapter. So that was the quick version of it. I don't really think I could have a long version because I don't really know what else to say on that. But moving on to potential Liverpool transfer news, it is becoming a lot more clearer on who our targets are and who our number one for certain positions are. The only one that is really uncertain at the minute is striker. There's still not a confirmed number one target in there. I know a lot are saying it's Isak, but again, especially if Newcastle get top 5 and get the Champions League football, then they're not selling. That 150 million valuation is sticking, and they won't go any lower than that. They won't need to. If by some sheer luck that they miss out, I still don't see them dropping the 150 million price tag, or at least not by a lot. I would still expect them to demand probably 130, maybe 120. But who knows? I don't know what's going to happen up top. That's the only place that we're not getting concrete information on as of yet. But the right back situation looks like it will be Jeremy Frimpong. That's causing a lot of divide already on Twitter. Some are saying that it's not a good signing and that he can't defend and all of this rubbish. And then other people are saying that it would be a bargain, especially considering it also came out that that 35 million euro release clause, which is around 28 million pounds, can apparently be paid in 4 installments, which is mental, because that's, you're talking like 7 million, possibly a year, maybe every 6 months, or at least 7 million installments anyway, for a player that's 24 and will massively improve probably our attacking options. Because although under Xabi Alonso he has been mainly utilised as a wing back, I saw it last night, I think it was last night or maybe it was Friday night, that he has played, I believe, 121 career games as a right back. So he can play right back. Doesn't mean that Arne Slot has to change. Yes, he's, you know, of late he has been more played as a wing back, but it's not like he hasn't played as a full back. He has. So he knows the difference between what is going to be expected of him as a full back and as a wing back, and also he'll know what the difference is of playing for Leverkusen and Liverpool and playing under Alonso and Slot. So I just see this as a bargain. I really do. Like, I don't know how you can't. For someone that's 24, who has the ability to score goals and assist from at least wing back slash full back area, I mean, you're talking 28 million. Like, that is nothing in today's market. It really isn't. You know, it's ridiculous the amount of money clubs demand for players now. It really is. Ever since Neymar left Barcelona for PSG for 200 million, that fucked the market completely. It really did, because ever since then, all of these players, their valuations have pretty much tripled. You know, there was talks that that Tyler Dibbling from Southampton would demand 80 million or 100 million for him. And look, he's a very good young player. But fuck no. Absolutely not. So you're not getting anywhere near that. I'd say maximum, if it was Liverpool that were going to go in for him, the maximum I would accept us to pay for him would be 30. I'd say 30 million, that's it. That's your lot. You want any more, you can fuck right off. And fuck it, let him go to anywhere else. United, Arsenal, City, couldn't care less. Don't care how talented this young lad is. Fuck no. Not in a million years are we spending anywhere over than 30 for him. I'd be quite annoyed if we did. But that is your lot. That's your lot. That's me. That's done. Nada. No. So, final thing on Frimpong is, yeah, I'd go for it. Get it done. You know, you've got the versatility as well that he can play wing, and with Salah going to AFCON in January, you know, you are, especially if we are going to sell Chiesa, you need someone that can play right wing, and Frimpong is the perfect option for that. A lot has been said on the Dean Huijsen situation. Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal, I think it is, are pushing for his signature. They're going to continue to push to try and get that wrapped up within the next few weeks, I believe. So we're yet to know. I mean, that situation should become clearer as early possibly as next week. You know, whatever happens, I do think Bournemouth probably want these situations sorted as quickly as possible. They did lose to Villa yesterday, which I don't think rules them out of European football completely, but I think it dampens their chances. So, you know, they might be more willing to come to the table now and discuss for players, as they may feel that their chances are very, very slim or have gone. So he's got a 50 million release clause, so, you know, you don't have to do anything with Bournemouth. It's simply just the player side. But with Kerkez, it's seeming more and more likely that he is the first. He's the number one target at left back. I believe the valuation is about 40, so I'd say get it done as soon as possible to avoid any potential headaches and any potential bidding wars. Just if you've what's the pissing word? If you've identified him as the player that you want to get in, then I'd say don't mess about. Just get it done. Just get it done. Get it ticked off. Get it over the line. And then you don't have to worry about that. And you can start focusing on the other positions as well. So, yeah, with the last thing that I want to touch on is... Yeah, we've got plenty of time. The last thing that I want to touch on is obviously the transfer window. So, with the Club World Cup, the transfer window, you're basically getting two this year. A short one from the 1st to the 10th of June, I believe it is. And then the normal window opening on the 1st of July and shutting on, I believe it's something like the 2nd of September. So a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen, because it's not just a window for Club World Cup teams. Everyone can do business in it. But I believe you can only sign a maximum of 2 players during that 10-day period. So a lot of people are wondering if we're going to be sorting out sales in that window, so that when the July window opens, we can just focus on bringing players in. A lot has been talked about Nunes. He looks like the one that could possibly be the early leaver. Napoli have apparently asked for information. Al Hilal are interested. Atletico Madrid, apparently Forest are as well. Forest are also apparently interested in Gerald Kwanzaa. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If you were to ask me what my thoughts were and what I think may happen, I honestly couldn't give you one. But I do think that even if we don't sell or sign anyone in that 10-day period, I think a lot more things will become clearer. I think Liverpool may do some bidding for players in that period. They may, or at least a journalist may, announce more players that Liverpool are potentially interested in. I think maybe some bids may come in for potential players that aren't even on the market, like Diaz, possibly Konate. I'd be surprised about anyone else, but again, you know, you may just see potentially something, you know, a random bid for Gakpo, a random bid for Szoboszlai or Maka or, you know, Jones. Just kind of these random ones that come out of nowhere that you would just expect Liverpool to shut down straight away because they're not interested in selling those players. But it kind of happens every window. A team will have a bid for just a random player that they don't deem sellable. It is what happens. Obviously, you know, you don't ask, you don't get. Or you don't ask, you don't know. And so that's that, really. I don't think there's anything else. If I forgot something, then so be it. I'm done. That's it now for at least the Trent situation and all that. Unless we get confirmation of an actual signing or bid or anything like that. I'm not going to be speaking about transfers until they happen, basically, because I do not want to be a jinx. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.